Hey, what's up? I'm Kira, and today I'm going to show you how I collect my compost from my vermicomposting system, my red wiggler worm bin. You're able to harvest compost from your vermicompost bin every 3 months. If your bin is small like mine, it might be a little bit more regular. It could also be a little bit less than that. Just depends how your worms are doing and what you're feeding them. When you know that you're going to want to collect your compost soon, you're going to start feeding one side of the bin and one side only for 2 to 3 weeks before you want to harvest. This ensures that big chunks of food are going to be on one side of the bin, that most of the worms will be attracted to that side of the bin, and it will give the other side of the bin some time to really decompose so that when you go to collect it, it really is just worm casings. The first step is to take the lid of your compost off and just let it breathe. You want some light to penetrate so that the worms will start crawling to the bottom of the bin. Then you're going to line the sink with these plastic bags that you've collected. I usually cut 2 plastic bags down their seams and have them draped over the sink. I'll show you in a minute. Then, from my compost, from the side that I have not been feeding, I start scraping off the top layers of compost. I only scrape until I start seeing worms, and then I let the bin sit again and let the worms crawl down to the bottom. I scrape that compost into the sink that I've lined with plastic bags. I usually pile that up in the sink and then separate out any worms, eggs, or large food chunks, and I put these back on the side of the bin that I've been feeding. Once you've separated out the food, eggs, and worms, what's left over is worm casings, and this is what you're after, so that's what you're going to be storing in your jar. Maybe you haven't harvested your compost yet and you don't know what to look for. To tell if your compost is done or getting close to being done, it should have a dark earthy scent, a dark color, and it will usually honestly just look like dirt. Now I'm going to take me and my bin over to the sink and I'll show you how I separate out my compost. My vermicompost bin on the right, and I have a sink lined with plastic bags on the left. So I cut the plastic bags down the seams and then used it to just line the sink. Just using this hori knife, I scoop the little first centimeter off, pop it in there, and I just continue doing that until I notice I get to a spot with a lot of worms, and then I stop and let it breathe, let the light penetrate. As you're sifting through your pile of compost, you're looking for eggs, and if you don't know what the eggs look like, that little brown tan colored orb right there is an egg. So they are visible to the naked eye. They're kind of large, in fact. You'll definitely be able to see some. Try and put as many back into the bin as you can because they have up to 10 worms in there. When I started my composting system, I didn't want to buy very much for it in case it went disastrously wrong. But what I have on hand has been fine. So I use a plastic fork that I got just with some takeout to sift through the compost in the plastic bag sink. One thing that I really like about this method is that you can lift the bag up and scrape it all into one pile, which makes it really easy. Thanks for watching. If you give this a try, let me know how you and your worms are doing.